You will hear what it is like for a Maryland woman being held in an ICE detention center almost 1,000 miles away from her family. Since Maryland does not have detention centers, detained immigrants are sent to other states that do. And that includes Richwood Correctional Center in Louisiana, which has faced complaints in the past about detainee care and facility conditions. The Department of Homeland Security said the facility complies with all standards. Tracee Wilkins and the News 4 I-team sat down with family members about their concerns and spoke with the woman being detained who's wondering what her future holds.
They treat us like a criminal. I feel like that.
Damaris Gomez-Lawrence never thought she'd be here.
I miss my family.
For more than half a year, she's been held in ICE's Richwood Correctional Center in Monroe, Louisiana. She called her family in Maryland, where she's from, while we were there. The signal's not great, going in and out. They have to pay for these calls themselves. This one, $3 for 15 minutes. What has it been like for you to be apart from your husband, from your two sons?
It's really hard. We never been separate, and now more than 7 months without them.
Without her, and this past holidays was tough, very difficult. Not having her.
Hasey Garcia is her niece.
She's a key part of our family. She keeps us together, too.
This picture taken the day she says Damaris was detained during her annual ICE probation check-in in Baltimore last August. She has a work permit and operated an electrical business with her husband. She has no criminal record and says she's been trying to become a legal citizen since 2014. Her detention has cost her family, both emotionally and financially.
Just her own attorney that she files for emergency stays, for her appeal to reopen her immigration case. You're talking about from $5,000 to $6,000.
It's hard to visit so far away, but the family says their trip to Richwood earlier this year was tough for other reasons.
After months of not seeing her, so we hugged her, and one of the officers started yelling, "Stop, stop. You can only hug her for 10 seconds. I was like, 10 seconds? They told us 3 minutes.
Damaris told them about the challenges she's faced inside.
The bathroom is really bad conditions. They always wet because they always leaking.
Richwood, I think, is the worst of the worst.
Vincent Rivas Flores, immigration attorney with Amica Center for Immigrant Rights, says he's heard that complaint and others about Richwood from clients detained there from Maryland.
For months, my clients have told me that there has been mold problems in the bathrooms and the toilets and the showers.
According to a 2023 DHS Office of Inspector General report, inspectors found health and safety violations, including poor housing conditions and unclean showers, which DHS said it addressed with renovations.
So much can change if Richwood actually listened to the complaints. These complaints are not new.
The OIG report also noted that Richwood restricted detainees' access to legal visitation and calls without providing justification. I said it complies with all standards and logs if any restrictions have to be made.
Sometimes I will not be able to talk to my clients for several days unless they call me, and it's not a private call.
If you could come up with a list for what Richwood could do to improve, where would you begin?
The number one thing that they can do is fix the food. That's probably the first thing that they can do, and it almost certainly would be the easiest.
I don't have any fruit, real fruit. We stay 1 week, but bologna sandwich. 1 bologna, 2 pieces of bread, and cookie or chips for a week. Lunch and dinner.
DHS responded, telling the I-team claims Richwood ICE facility has subprime conditions are false, and added all detainees are provided with 3 meals a day, clean water, clothing, bedding, showers, and toiletries, and have access to phones to communicate with their family members and lawyers. Certified dietitians evaluate meals. How many people in that room where you sleep?
100. Now it's 93, I think. Sometimes we have around 108.
Damaris told us she ended up at Richwood after flying from BWI in Maryland to Alexandria International Airport in Louisiana. While we don't know how many others from Maryland are there, according to data collected from the ICE Flights Monitor Project, almost 60% of all ICE flights from Maryland since January of 2025 were bound for Alexandria. That's almost 100 flights through April of this year.
Traumante.
Damaris's husband told our Telemundo 44 partner Rose Feliz Quiones he worries about deportation and what's next for the love of his life.
After so many years of living in this country, having many things built together, it's like everything is coming down, and she has 20 years in this country, or 21, practically a life made. You have to return to a country that maybe you don't know.
Damaris's family says she's earned a nickname among the women in detention. They call her Pastor.
I'm preaching in this place. I know God's have hope, and I really have a hope on God. I'm trusting Him, and He's justice. He will make justice. I know.
This family has a lot of faith and belief in their faith. DHS said in its statement that ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens, and that ensuring the safety, security, and well-being of individuals in our custody is a top priority at ICE. We also reached out to the company that runs Richwood for ICE, but have not heard back yet. Damaris Gomez-Lauren's family would like to see her returned home on bond while the legal process plays out. That's something the immigration advocates we talk to tells us that happens less and less for people they represent. The family just told us they're hoping a judge makes a ruling in her case soon. So they are standing by and just hoping that she will come home and that some kind of bond will be allowed in her case. But this has been so difficult. And I got to tell you that the conversations with her husband were so heartbreaking because she was the one who made the appointments for their electric business. She was the one who organized everything and told him where to go. Now he's doing that on his own. He's also cooking meals for his boys and running that household and taking care of it. And he does not feel like he is doing a good job at that work. He wants his partner back by his side.
Of course.
And the family is just so broken. Like who she is in that center, when she said that she is called pastor, that's who she was for the family and for their local church. And now she's just been ripped away from this family.
I can clearly hear the pain in her voice and her family's voice. And as I listened to this, saw the conditions and what she described, the conditions there. Is there any recourse for her and other people who are detained in facilities like this?
Well, there used to be, right? But a lot of these agencies have been gutted out under the Trump administration. And folks can, appeal to the federal government, but the process takes a while. And attorneys are even confused about exactly how to do that with some of the issues. You see that the report that we were looking at is from 2023, where they were able to, go in and inspect and then come back with, here are the things that need to be fixed. And in that report, Richwood said, there are some things here that we agree with and that we're going to fix, but you could hear that there are people who still have concerns. So it just gives you an idea of what it's like, especially from people in Maryland who are sent all the way across the country away from their families. People can't visit them. In her case, she has the emergency stay, so she's still in this country. But part of the reason that so many folks are being sent to Louisiana is because it's a little easier to deport them from that state as opposed to some of the other states in the country. But she is still here and still fighting.
Well, thank you for shining a light on this, giving us a little insight into what so many families are experiencing. All right. Thank you, Tracee.